Hello everyone, this is Howie, and this is my very first YouTube video. So please bear with me as I fumble my way through it. I'm just setting up the software to record this, and I thought for my first video I should just sort of give a little backstory. I am just starting getting into swing trading. I have a history within the market in different ways that I'll go through this little Google Docs and sort of introduce myself to the world, along with sort of why I'm doing this, what my plans are for this year 2025, and so on and so forth. So let's just dive right into it. Why am I making a YouTube channel? So first and foremost, I want to be able to look back at my thoughts and how they evolve as I learn as a swing trader. As a swing trader. So I might have some thoughts now, and 6 months from now, I'm going to look back and say that was a ridiculous idea. But I want to be able to sort of track my results, not just on a pen and paper or on an Excel doc, but actually sort of my verbal thoughts to the process as I go. Obviously, this is going to be easier for me than making a journal. It could help others who are just getting started in swing trading sort of live their lives vicariously through me to some extent, with the idea that perhaps some of the pitfalls I might face, they will be able to avoid. Um, and perhaps I could even find a group of like-minded people to share some trading ideas with. I have no current connection with anyone, so this is essentially day 1A for me as far as the social aspect of swing trading. I know there are a lot of platforms where people share ideas and such, so I thought this could be an opportunity. And I just like technical stuff. I like making videos and messing around with software and all that. So those are the sort of the reasons that I have decided to start a little YouTube channel and start posting some things about swing trading. So let's talk about me. My history, I'm in my mid 40s. I have a family, I have a house, I have a dog, and all that sort of thing. I'm Canadian. I'm by nature an entrepreneur. Over the last, say, 25 years, I've developed dozens of small businesses. Most of them have been failures, but I have one that is currently quite successful that I started in 2010. And it's at the point now and has been for several years that I don't need to commit more than, say, 5 to 10 hours a week on supporting it. I have a general manager and about 10 or 12 staff. So it pretty much runs itself aside from the occasional hiccup within tax time or government or those sorts of things. So my primary business created a holding company, or I guess I created a holding company because of my primary business, to hold the additional assets because it was making more income than I was comfortable taking out in dividends. So I decided to create a holding company with the advice of my accountant. And since then, I've been in some degree in the market with the additional assets from the primary business. Early on, I watched a little video from Tony Robbins who sort of talked about mutual funds, how they're a bit of a scam as far as them charging, 1 or 2%, regardless of how the mutual fund did. And from the very early stages of my own history, I've always been sort of avoidant of giving um, interest or money back in any way possible. So I got into self-directed trading fairly early on. Also, for clarity, my swing trading account that I've set up only holds about 20% of my total assets, so I can be riskier. This isn't my entire account. I'm trading and swing trading. A lot of my main account is diversified. I have some EFTs, some stocks, a few like bond type EFTs that are supposed to protect against any downturn. Um, so anyway, so I'm diversified, not probably 30 different long-term set them and forget them kind of investments I have in there. I did do some swing trading. I just noticed an error back in 2017. I got into it when the marijuana stocks in Canada started popping off like crazy, I was dabbling with some day trading and some swing trading probably for about 6 months. I think I had some marginal success, but it wasn't anything giant, and I really didn't know very much. I sort of went in, jumped in with 2 feet, without doing much in the way of understanding, researching, and learning about much aside from a few YouTube videos. So again, I didn't really know what I was doing at that point. Also in the early 2000s, I was a semi-professional poker player. I used to play tons of cash games online, multi-tabling, up to 16 tables at a time. I also ran a few poker websites back in the day. So I have that sort of, I don't know what to call it, gambling mindset, but certainly I learned a ton about probabilities and statistics and understanding variance and those sorts of things from the poker table. So I think I'm able to use a lot of that knowledge sort of in trading and investments. So the question is, why have I decided to start swing trading? So for me, it's primarily uh, to learn and understand the markets better. I think if I watch them and I'm involved in them daily or weekly, it will help me overall with my investment portfolio and strategy. It's also a hobby for me because I have a little more free time. I'm not much of a, gonna learn the guitar or something like that. I like to exercise my brain, and this definitely is doing that and will continue to do that. I'm also aware that at any time, if I start another business, if life changes in any way, I can always just hang up my swing trading boots, so to speak. I can just stick it all in an index fund and then walk away. I also love challenges. This seems to be a very large challenge with all sorts of information out there. And this is just a little backstory I thought that I'd done recently. For the last 4 months until January 1st, I tried to win or create a winning NHL hockey betting strategy. I would spend 1 to 2 hours every single day picking through players that I created this massive Excel spreadsheet with the history of every single NHL player. Like it was just ridiculous. And I would attempt to find plays or bets every day. Over the course of 4 months, I was actually able to get the betting system to the point of break even, which, if you know sports betting, they take in these bets, they were taking about a 7% edge off the top. So to be break even was actually quite impressive. And again, it was fun. It was enjoyable. I really wasn't trying to make a living or anything. That was something I was interested in pursuing. I do like hockey and I like watching the games, so it just added a little bit of enjoyment there. And then I sort of late December realized that um, I could I could get back into trading because with trading you have the edge. So when you're sports betting, the house has a built-in say 3 to 7% advantage over you because they're going to take their cut on either side of the line. But with the stock market, the advantage is yours. The Nasdaq has returned close to 11% average each year since '85. The S&P between say 7.7 and 10.7 over the last 50 years, depending on what time frame you look at. So basically, you're playing with the house edge. So even if you're below average, even if you're 5% below average, you're still going to turn some sort of a profit most years in the stock market because of that edge. Um, I've always had the mindset to beat the man. It's rarely for me just about saving money. I don't know if any of you can relate to this example, but just a week or two ago, I was pissed off because the bromine prices for my hot tub chemicals, they wanted $43 for 700 grams on Amazon. And then I researched a little more. I found the local hardware store was selling the same product for $56 for 1 kilogram. So I dug into the internet. I found a Canadian distributor selling 3 kilogram containers for 60 bucks. I dug in further and found out that they had free shipping over 150, so I ended up buying three 3 kilogram containers, and I saved a bunch of money, and it was very satisfying to me. Like I went from paying 16.25 cents per gram of product to 2 cents per gram of product with the larger purchase. So that to me is an 8 times return on investment. So even though it's a small win for me, I'm always looking for these kind of wins, these little angles, these little opportunities to save money in any way possible, or to get a better deal, a better, um, just to get ahead of the game somehow. So I think that can relate to the stock market in many ways, where looking for the edges and looking for these systems that maximize your profit and maximize your value and time is exciting to me, and I think it'll work well for me. Next, we have what are my 2025 swing trading goals. So I'm going to commit essentially the entire year of 2025 to trading. For the first 3 months, I know we're now deep into January, but I will be doing lots of learning, researching, tweaking, research, more research. I've already read several audiobooks, podcasts, watch YouTube videos. Basically, I'm just going to dive and continue to dive deeply into understanding swing trading and looking at the many different philosophies that different traders have out there, and hopefully just picking, one or two little tidbits from a whole bunch of different people to develop my own system. I don't think I'm going to sign up for anything, pay a bunch of money for one person's sort of guaranteed system. I want to develop my own strategy and system for swing trading, but I will be taking little bits and pieces from a bunch. So again, trying out different setups, different systems, learning entry points, exit points, stop losses, getting some side knowledge. I don't think I'll be doing any shorting or options trading. Um, I'm just going to stick primarily with buying long, looking for long spots. I have some apprehension about going against the 10% built-in edge that the stock market has. Doesn't really make sense to me to short, except for in extreme situations. I mean, I could be wrong, but my gut says that seems like going to the casino and trying to beat the slot machines. But I want to learn about it. I want to understand about shorting. I want to understand about options trading and all the different sort of styles of trading available. Then once I've done that for about 3 months, the next 3 months are going to be starting to implement the information I did gain from those 3 months of research, and actually starting to get better at swing trading, get it in the market. July and August, summer months, I might look for some longer term trades, sort of open up my stop losses, and perhaps even put the money into an index fund. I don't know yet, but I just don't want to spend a lot of the summer every day trading. So that might be a little bit of a tweak. I've got a few trips to some places that I want to take part of. So that will be my summer. And then sort of reset in September and hopefully get a little more aggressive and look to try and really smash it for like the last, 3 or 4 months of the year. Next, what I need based on my personal lifestyle. So everyone's different. If you're a single person in your 20s, you might have just unlimited time on your hands to invest into this. I'm not in that position. So I don't want to be stuck at my screen for hours every day. The more I can find a system where I can kind of set it and forget it when I get into the stocks. So always having a stop loss and always having a sell point with no exceptions, I think, is my number one rule that I don't think I'll deviate from. Just when you enter a trade, with it goes the stop loss. I use TD and they have many options for like one triggers another order, one cancels another order, those sorts of things. So I will be able to get a system in place where I already know what my stop loss is going to be as soon as I enter the trade. And I'm okay with longer holds. I think it's actually maybe beneficial for my lifestyle if I could maybe put like even a 20% stop loss on something and watch it over the course of several months. According to my research, anything less than 1 year is considered swing trading. So most people talk about days and weeks. I might be talking more about weeks and months. And at this point, I want to be doing most of my research outside of the training hours and probably putting most of my trades in because I might have a higher level of volatility allowance within my trades. I don't think there's going to be much of an issue, and I could be wrong. This is early, but I don't think there'll be much of an issue in putting it in pre-market and just buying it at whatever the pre-market open is. Let me go further. So these are things I like and things I don't like. Again, this is very early on in my research. I've been at it for about 3 weeks now, getting into books and podcasts and all the like. But so far, I'm liking using the average true range. I like the idea of knowing sort of how volatile the stock's been recently and using that information for my stop losses especially. I like anything that's to do with volume and price action when it comes to the strategies. I'm learning about breakout systems, so I'm really curious to get to know more about breakout systems, sort of when a stock is consolidating for a number of days and then sort of pulls up above that consolidation. That's a good time to get in there. And I've been messing around a little bit with sort of green candles, so like having 3 or 4 or 5 break even or down days, and then you have a larger green candle with volume. A few ideas around that. So those are sort of things I do like, and I'm looking to focus my strategy more on. And then secondly, things I don't like. And again, both these are subject to change, but I don't like some of these super subjective things like the teacups, the head and shoulders, these visual indicators where you're looking for a particular shape in a um, in a chart. I from my perspective anyway, and this could change. It feels incredibly subjective, and every time you adjust a chart from like an hourly to a 15-minute to a daily to a 2x daily, those sort of visual things seem to move and shimmy and shake all around. So it feels to me a little bit more, I don't know what the word is. It's just not going to be for me, I don't think, at this point. Just, yeah, like I said, it's too subjective. It's too, everyone will see something different. It feels like reading tea leaves to some degree. And then thirdly, things I don't like are anything that fills the screen with noise. So I'm really going to be particular about any indicators I use, and I don't want a chart that's just got 15 lines going in every direction. I'm going to be very, very picky about anything that goes onto my charts when I'm looking. Okay, next is what I need to learn over the next 3 months. So I need to understand screeners. I need to understand all the different options ways you can set it up, and I need to develop a screener that brings me the stocks that are going to match my trading style. So again, I'm experimenting right now. I've tried a few things, but there are many screeners out there, and there are many different options within the screeners. I'm just trying to pick a little bit of information from several different people throughout the internet and develop my screener style. And that's the main thing right now. I think I'll add to the screeners. I'm really questioning sort of stop loss. I'm really questioning trailing stop loss ideas, like starting a trade with a trailing stop loss compared to starting a trade with a stop loss and an exit point, the pros and cons of those ideas. And that's sort of what I'm developing now. So one last little point here is I'm using advanced dashboard on TD right now. My starting bankroll is just north of 500 grand. This is in USD. So it's already been converted over because I'm Canadian, so I have I deal primarily with Canadian money, but that's been converted over to USD, so I'm not going to be paying exchange rates on every trade. And I am tracking everything on a Google Sheets, and I will make this Google Sheets public for anyone who wants to look and follow along or ask any questions. Um, this is my graph so far, so I have been doing some trading here. It's not like I'm just waiting to learn before I get in here, but I've done I don't know, about 20 trades already. So maybe I'll make a video just on how I have this set up right now. But just to give you an idea, it is what's the date today? 27th of January 2025, and my account is just north of 550, so 27K upswing. And one thing that's important to me is trying to beat the NASDAQ. So if I can't consistently beat the levels of the NASDAQ, what's the point of even doing it? Because I can just throw it in an index fund. So I always have this comparative level. So this is basically how much the NASDAQ is up or down since the first day I started trading, which is January 13th. And then over here we have my profit and loss in that same period and the difference between. So I want to try and keep my profit levels higher than the overall Nasdaq, and it's not going to be obviously able to go up and down, but over the year that's sort of my goal. So anyway, this video is ridiculously long already, and I need a drink, so I'm going to stop it here. But I'd like to thank you for listening and viewing, and if you have any questions, I did make an email address. It's howieswings@gmail.com. If you did want to shoot me an email, introduce yourself or anything, I will probably only be checking on it once or twice a week, but you can also obviously respond to this video in the chat on YouTube. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I will be doing some more of these soon. Thanks.